My name is Luna. Last night, I was still hunched over my laptop, rage punching keys to finish the 18th revision of the client's deck. I blinked awake this morning and to spam, I transmigrated into a novel, an old-school CEO novel at that, complete with the standard kit, a ruthless, vengeful male lead named Adrian, a kind, tenacious, ever-teary female lead named Sophie, and a vicious supporting fiancé whose only job is to die spectacularly and push the plot forward. Surprise. Surprise, I'm that fiancé, the one who mocked and humiliated Adrian when the Caldwell family was down, kept framing Sophie after he rose, and finally watched her own company go into bankruptcy before being forced to take a 100-meter flying leap off a rooftop. Recapping all that while I hugged a velvet quilt, I stared at the crystal chandelier blazing overhead and felt an icy draft on the back of my neck. Jump, hard pass. I love my life way too much. The original Luna had 2 brain cells, one for snobbery, one for arrogance. I, on the other hand, am a former wage slave turned survivalist. I know one truth. In front of absolute power, every death-seeking stunt is just tissue paper. And Adrian is that soon-to-be absolute power. So, insults, scorn, those are express tickets to the roof. My strategy is simple. Cling to his thigh like industrial-strength Velcro. Cling for dear life. If I pet Adrian right, maybe when the Vance family finally implodes he'll remember how understanding I was and toss me a crust of bread instead of a suicide sprint. Thus my new life goal: become Adrian's favorite comfort blanket, deliver warmth and care, and pet the fur in the right direction. Today marks month 3 since I landed in this book and day 108 of delivering Adrian's love bento. I stand in the mirror-bright lobby of Caldwell headquarters, swinging a limited edition LV thermal pot, dressed in Chanel's latest skirt suit, face set to sweet, gentle, and appropriately dignified. After weeks of mirror drills, the receptionist has cycled from shocked and wary to numb and resigned. She even offers a professional fake smile now. Good morning, Luna. Adrian is still in his meeting. No problem. I'll wait. My voice could ring water. I glide to the executive elevator. Chase. Adrian's EA has been pinged in advance. He bows slightly, swipes the key card, and escorts me upstairs. Yep, 108 days of shameless persistence bought me fast pass access to the CEO floor. Adrian still greets me with the warmth of an ice slab, but he no longer rejects my tribute. Major progress. The top floor is so quiet you could hear a pin drop. I push open the heavy solid wood door to Adrian's office. He's not there. Meeting must still be running. I set the thermal pot on his mirror-finished desk and unpack like a pro. Tier 1, crystal grain rice. Tier 2, blanched shrimp and lightly sautéed greens. Tier 3, the piece de resistance, my 2-hour simmered, ultra-potent virility broth, thick with herbs and meaty aroma. Why virility broth every single day? Simple. Tactic. Every cold-faced workaholic CEO in the web novel multiverse is half dead from kidney fatigue. Right. The broth screams I care, while sneakily hinting I doubt his stamina. If that pricks his masculine pride and he decides to prove me wrong, well, promotion unlocked. Flawless plan. I've just aligned the chopsticks when the door swings open and the temperature drops 5 degrees. Adrian walks in. Custom ink black suit. Shoulders broad. Waist narrow. Legs forever. His face is a sculptor's dream. Crisp planes. High bridge, thin lips, eyes like a winter pond that flash freeze you on contact. His gaze sweeps the lunch spread and lands on me. My inner deer isn't fluttering from love. It's terror. The man's aura could refrigerate a warehouse. Bro. I whip up my sweetest smile. Voice syrupy, meeting done. Eat while it's hot. Today's broth is my personal brew, goji. Eukamia. Sistanch. Super tonifying. I babble while reading his face. Zero reaction. He circles behind the desk, sits, lifts the chopsticks, and eats with imperial calm. Phew. Another cleared round. I breathe. A waiting lady in waiting, scheming how to farm extra goodwill today. When he's nearly finished, I step forward to collect the boxes, but he suddenly sets his chopsticks down, wipes his mouth with a linen napkin, and lifts his eyes. Luna. Velvet baritone. Flat line. Why yes? I snap to attention. This is number 108. His tone doesn't flicker. What exactly do you want? Here it comes, the final exam. For 3 months I had delivered food, asked after his health, accidentally brushed his sleeve, tossed casual winks, all treated as background noise. Today he finally asks, a chance to declare my sincerity. According to Plan A, I should tear up and confess, I like you. Big brother. I was awful before. I just want to be good to you now. But maybe 108 days of ladle fumes went to my brain, or his abstinent face poked the leftover rebel in me. Plan A's script veered off a cliff. 2 crimson blobs bloom on my cheeks, half fear, half theater. I lower my head, twist the hem of my jacket, and in a sugar-sick, bashful squeak that even I can't stand, I whisper, too. Having ejected that single syllable, I find the guts to peek at him through my lashes. All faux shy. The air solidifies. The office is so silent I hear my heart throw itself against my ribs. Adrian obviously hadn't expected that answer. For the first time, the eternal iceberg of his face cracked. Clean, visible fissures. He stared at me, pupils flaring a millimeter wider, and then, I watched, wide-eyed, as a suspicious, tomato-red flush crawled up from his razor-sharp jawline to the tips of his ears at lightning speed. Those earlobes looked like they were about to drip blood. He was blushing. The future Grim Reaper who would supposedly drive the original fiancée to jump off a rooftop was actually blushing because I cracked a dirty joke. 10,000 alpacas stampeded through my skull and exploded into a firework of pure disbelief. What the hell? The novel never said Adrian was this innocent. Wasn't he a battle-scarred CEO with a legion of ex-lovers? We stared at each other, me fake bashful, him genuinely scarlet and awkward. Surreal standoff. Adrian recovered first. He shot to his feet so fast his leather throne screeched backward across the floor, half turning away, voice stiff enough to snap. He barked out, "Huh, oh, sure, big bro, just don't forget your soup," I squeaked, hugging the empty thermal pot to my chest and scuttling out like a cockroach under fluorescent light. I slammed the door, spine flattened to the cold wood, lungs heaving. My heart was still jackhammering. Had I just danced on the lip of death? And winked at it, and actually pulled it off. Wait, I did pull it off. Right. He turned crimson, but then he snarled it out at me, pretty viciously. Brain mush. I floated into the elevator. Chase the assistant waved. I didn't even hear him. The rest of the day was a nausea coaster. 1 second gloating that his blush spelled victory. The next convinced I'd turbocharge the Vance family bankruptcy countdown and my own rooftop finale. At dusk my plastic BFF, trust fund Princess Vivian, ringtoned me. I barely tapped accept before dolphin-level squealing burst out. Luna, you sly minx. Hiding superpowers now. My earbud vibrated. Huh, powers for what? Stop acting. Vivian was practically levitating. The entire building knows. Hell, the whole zip code spreading it. A cold premonition slithered down my spine. Spreading what? Exactly? Playing dumb. So cute, she cackled. Word is you cornered Adrian in his office, flirted him into a red-faced meltdown, and survived. Spill. Every drop. How'd you crack the walking glacier? I stood frozen, phone glued to my ear. Everyone in Caldwell already knew. It hadn't even been half a day. Did Caldwell install fiber optic gossip? And hello, red-faced meltdown? He flushed a bit, then kicked me out. Facts matter. People. Viv. Listen. It's not. Save it. She sang. Tonight. Velvet. Confess or die trying. Dial tone. I stared at the screen, soul leaking out through my pores. Done for. No possible way to stuff the genie back into the WhatsApp bottle. I collapsed on the sofa, watching city lights flicker on. Mood as tangled as earbuds in a pocket. So, I've officially bagged the boss. With a single raunchy punchline. Somebody explain which alternate universe CEO novel I just stepped into. The next few days taught me the true meaning of a viral. My WhatsApp imploded with friend requests from socialites I'd only side-eyed across grand ballrooms. All fishing for Adrian gossip. The family landline became a hotline. After fielding 3 calls, Mom wrinkled her brow. Sweetie, you and the Caldwell boy, serious. Why didn't you warn us? Dad was blunter. Over dinner he cleared his throat. Pumpkin. Adrian used to be problematic, but the kid's legit now. Date whoever you want. Just keep it tasteful. Optics. I nearly coughed up a lung. Optics. There was nothing to optic. Even a routine spa day turned into a whisper fest in the next alcove. Did you hear? Luna hooked Adrian. For real. His standards dive-bombed? Well, foie gras gets boring. Sometimes you crave street meat spicy hot pot. My facial mask cracked from muscle spasms. Great. Upgrade from airhead heiress to MSG-flavored temptress. Worst of all, Adrian stayed radio silent. No furious call. No public denial. Just a void scarier than any confrontation. Sword of Damocles. Party of one. Dreading the drop. I still delivered his lunch the following day. The receptionist practically curtsied. Good morning, Vance. Adrian's expecting you. Expecting me. My scalp prickled. Inside, he sat beneath the crystal chandelier. Sunlight pouring over his shoulders like liquid gold. He looked mythically untouchable, until he glanced up. Eye contact. Cardio workout achieved in 1 second flat. His expression was still that same cool mask, but for some reason I sensed something else hiding behind his eyes, no longer the pure ice and indifference from before. I forced myself to stay calm and set the thermal pot down. Adrian, lunch, he answered without looking up, gaze back on the paperwork, tone as casual as if nothing had happened. Leave it. Me? Oh, that's it. Nothing more. I studied his face, hunting for even a flicker of strangeness, and came up empty. This man's acting skills were so good Hollywood owed him an Oscar. I set the pot down awkwardly and prepared to slip away. There's a cocktail reception tonight. He spoke suddenly, voice low, yet it froze my steps. I turned. Huh? He capped his fountain pen and lifted his eyes. You're coming with me. Me? My eyes went wide. I couldn't believe what I'd heard. Accompany him to a reception. In this circle the message was unmistakable. Practically a public acknowledgement of our relationship. What did he mean? Playing along? Or some deeper scheme? When I just stood there, he frowned slightly. Problem? And none at all. I shook my head like a rattle drum. What time? Where? What should I wear? Who cares what he's planning? Opportunity knocks once. If clinging to this golden thigh keeps me off the rooftop, I'd do way more than attend some party. Still have a bottom line. Probably. 7. I'll pick you up. That was all. He dropped his gaze back to the documents as if he'd only remarked on the weather. I drifted out of the Caldwell Tower in a daze. Feet barely touching carpet. Adrian was taking me to a reception and fetching me himself. The rumor sprouted wings faster than the elevator could descend. By the time I reached home, Mom and Dad were already perched on the living room sofa like two statues of anticipation. Luna, Adrian's really coming for you tonight? Mom's eyes sparkled. Yeah. I nodded. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Dad fired off 3 happy shots, every wrinkle smiling. Seems it's real, sweetheart. Make the most of it. Dressed to kill. Bring pride to the Vance family. Me, pressure mountain-sized. At 7 sharp Adrian's Rolls-Royce glided to a stop outside our gate. I wore a just-released Valentino starlight gown, Jimmy Choo crystal pumps, face flawlessly beat, hair professionally swept up, and floated down the steps on a cloud of nerves. The chauffeur bowed and opened the door. In the back Adrian sat in a black Armani tux that made his shoulders look runway wide. Aura cool and regal. His gaze landed on me for 2 full seconds, then slid away. I slid in beside him. The cabin smelled faintly of cedar from his cologne, laced with that unmistakable keep-out chill. We rode in silence. He seemed to nap. I stared at the city streaking past, mentally rehearsing every possible scenario and snappy comeback. The reception was at a 5-star hotel's grand downtown. The car stopped. A valet opened the door. Adrian stepped out first. Then, my heart lurched. He did something completely natural yet heart-stopping. He extended his hand toward me. The hand was sculpted, strong, a stealth wealth Patek peeking from his cuff. I blinked at it, finally came to, and placed my fingers in his. His palm was dry and warm, closing gently around mine. The instant we touched I felt his fingertips stiffen. Oh ho, progress. So Mr. CEO isn't as unflappable as he pretends. My mischievous streak reawakened. As I exited, I faked a tiny wobble, leaning lightly against him while my index finger accidentally grazed his palm. Quick as a feather, Adrian's pace hitched a millimeter. His grip tightened, and he glanced sideways. Gaze unreadable, part warning, part curiosity, maybe even a spark I'd kindled. He said nothing, only towed me toward the Grand, but I caught it. The second he looked away, the shell of his ear blushed scarlet. Gotcha. Adrian the iceberg is secretly as shy. Smoldering. Sundara. That shot of adrenaline vaporized my nerves. I felt like Columbus spotting new land, ready to explore. Turns out normal flirting won't crack this glacier. You need spicy level tactics. Inside the Grand, chandeliers dazzled and crystal clinked. The moment Adrian led me through the arch, the hum dipped for a heartbeat. Every head whipped our way, laser focusing on our linked hands. Shock, curiosity, envy, jealousy. Daggers practically pinned me to the marble. Adrian noticed none of it, strolling in with me attached, greeting tycoons as smoothly as reading stock quotes. He introduced me with a single calm word, Luna. No titles, no filler, yet everyone understood the weight behind it. I kept a socialite smile while an inner maniac put hands on hips and cackled. See that? I've bagged the big fish, rooftop. Miss ya? Of course. Operation Save My Skin stayed active. While he chatted up a mogul, I leaned in and whispered just loud enough for him, Adrian, you look insanely hot tonight. Especially when your ears blush. It's adorable. The fingers gripping his champagne flute whitened. He lowered thick lashes, eyes pinning me with smoky pressure. Luna, he murmured, voice a low threat. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Who? Me? I widened my eyes, gaze flicking pointedly to his reddening ear. I'm only stating facts. He stared at me for several long seconds. Then the corner of his mouth lifted in the faintest smirk. There and gone so fast I thought I'd imagined it. Then he leaned in, lips brushing my ear, warm breath skimming my helix and sending a shiver down my spine. Once we're home tonight, he murmured, voice pitched low and velvet rough, every syllable tapping against my heart. I'll settle accounts with you, slowly. My cheeks flamed crimson. Settle accounts. What accounts? And how? Exactly. Surely he didn't mean. Before I could claw my way out of the sudden sensual ambush, a gentle voice cut in. Caldwell. Luna. I looked up and felt my stomach drop. It was Sophie, the female lead herself. She wore a crisp white cocktail dress, fresh as a jasmine blossom, standing a few steps away, eyes complicated as they rested on Adrian, really on Adrian, layered with restrained hurt and loss. Here it comes. The classic scene. Right on schedule. According to the original plot, the vicious fiancé, me, should now march up, insult Sophie, and enrage Adrian, turbocharging my own demise. But hell if I'm following that script. Before Sophie could reach us or even open her mouth, I darted forward, beaming, and twined my arm through Adrian's, plastering myself to his side. I cooed at Sophie. Sis Sophie, you made it. That dress is gorgeous, so you, not like me, stuck in this glitter bomb of a gown, tacky as can be. My tone was honey sincere, eyes sparkling. Adrian, Sophie, huh? She obviously hadn't expected that. Her prepared lines jammed in her throat. Her face went adorably blank. I tilted my head at Adrian, pouting like a pampered kitten. Honey, look how pretty Sophie is. If I were a guy, I'd totally fall for her. Adrian angled a weird look at me. Sophie's cheeks pinked. She ducked her head, flustered. You're too kind, Luna. Just telling the truth. I chirped, all harmless smiles while my fingers secretly pinched Adrian's arm. Cue the cooperation. Adrian hesitated a couple beats, then gave Sophie a polite nod. Sophie, nothing more, but the distance in his tone was glacially clear. Sophie's eyes dimmed. She forced a smile. I won't disturb you two any longer. Turning, she walked away, silhouette tinged with loneliness. I apologized silently to the original heroine. Sorry, girl, not trying to steal your man, just trying to stay alive. Once she'd vanished into the crowd, I released Adrian's arm, patted my chest, and exhaled. That was close. He arched a brow. Close to what? Nearly followed the evil side chick script and trash-talked her. I declared righteously. Then you'd played the hero, hated me even more, and probably bankrupted the Vance family by breakfast. Adrian's gaze darkened. He studied me and asked slowly, Luna, have you been reading odd manuals lately? Stuff like Transmigrator's Self-Help or the Villainous Survival Handbook? Maybe. Alarm bells clanged in my skull. I dialed my expression to pitiful at once. I'm just scared. Remember how much you used to hate me? He kept staring, silent, eyes seeming to peel me layer by layer. Right then the house lights dimmed and a languid waltz glided through the grand. Adrian extended his hand in perfect ballroom invitation. Dance, he said. Curt. I glanced at those long fingers, remembering the tiny stiffness in his palm and the red still staining his earlobes. And a wilder idea hatched. Low lighting, swoony music, perfect moment for mischief. I smiled sweetly, laid my hand in his, and let him glide me onto the floor. His palm cupped my waist. Through the thin silk I felt its heat, its strength, tilting my head to that flawless face so close. My heartbeat sprinted again. Time to flip the offense, matching his steps. I started my whispered performance, audible only to him. Honey, I breathed, soft and airy. You're holding me so tight I can barely breathe. I squirmed just enough for effect. His arm clamped tighter, voice gravelly. Hold still. Okay. I went limp, but the chatter kept coming. You smell amazing. What cologne is that? No answer. I didn't care. You dance so well. So steady. Must mean fantastic core, right? I felt his fingers flex. His Adam's apple bobbed, gaze turning storm-sea dark. Luna, he gritted, syllables ground between his teeth. Do you honestly think I won't do anything to you? I blinked, all innocence. Do what? What are you planning? My glance flicked downward, loaded. Could it be what I think it is? His breath hitched as the melody drifted into a slower passage. I pressed closer, lips grazing his ear. Voice a feather, then let me state up front. I stretched the vowel, savoring the rigid shock that rippled through him. Face still angelic while I whisper babbled. I'm a total wimp about pain. Boom. The air around Adrian shifted. The cold aura evaporated, replaced by scalding, predatory heat. He halted mid-step, spun me in a smooth pivot, and whisked us off the gleaming floor into a shadow-draped alcove. My back met cool marble. His tall frame caged me in. Nowhere to run. He dipped his head until our foreheads almost touched. Noses a breath apart. Exhales tangling. Luna, he said, eyes abyss black. Emotions I couldn't read surging inside. Voice husky, you're done for.